Hello and welcome to the Media Studies Evaluation Question 4, which is entitled How did you use media technologies in the research, construction, planning and evaluation stages? I've decided to present a video, which is another form of media which I've used during this presentation, during my coursework stage, because I feel it gives the viewer or the reader of my blog more interaction, rather than just watching PowerPoints or reading blog posts. It gives them, they can listen to stuff, they can watch stuff. It's much better than just watching some everyday boring PowerPoint presentation. So to begin with, I'm going to talk about the research and construction phases. They're sort of combined into one, really. So I was surprised actually how much I've used media throughout the course. I was actually really surprised how much I can talk about it. So obviously at AS level, which I'd done last year, that was my music magazine double page spread and contents page. I used media to find existing music magazines, which I could build, use and build upon. On my chosen genre was a ska magazine, which was really difficult to find actually. I was surprised how many ska music magazines there were, really, because there wasn't that many. So I found one, but I had to base everything around that one publication, so it was quite difficult. And then trying to find music that was suitable to my target audience of a ska target audience, which was quite an older generation. But obviously, finding music within the ska genre is easy to find, but it's just whether it would suit my target audience or not. But I managed to find it pretty easily. Finding a design, obviously I've already mentioned that finding a music magazine for a ska magazine was really difficult. Obviously I've done a lot of research using Google, and I presented the odd presentation, on SlideShare to plan out what I wanted to do. And I thought it went really well actually. I was quite happy with it. So then going for the typical house styles. Yeah, pretty similar house style. I could only really base it on the one publication, as I mentioned before. Same with most of my stuff I had to do at AS level, using the one publication. I think it was called Scar 80 or something like that, and it had like a checkerboard design with like two main images of the characters on it. It was basically created on that, really. I also used Google and this website called cooltext.com to have a look at some text designs that I wanted to use for my logo and my masthead. But in the end, I didn't really go with it. I'd rather use the text on the software, such as Photoshop and InDesign, which I used as well. They were used to create each publication. Photoshop, I'd done most of the photo editing on it, and then I put that into InDesign and created everything in InDesign: the magazine cover, the double page spread, and the contents page. And then I exported these images onto the blog. And then I used the blog quite a lot to show the progress of my coursework. Another good use of media actually used in EduBlogs. I would highly recommend it. It was a good thing to use, and found it really helped me show progression using blog posts that can be inserted at different times as well, to give you a full length of how long the project lasted. It's good to use. Whereas at A2 level, I used a lot of Google, a lot of YouTube. YouTube was really helpful finding film trailers, because we had to do film trailers as our task. And then obviously you got Google and all the other stuff, cooltext.com as well. I had a look at that, but there wasn't many again. So yeah, I had to find a lot of good looking films to research and their success. When I selected the film, I had to research how successful they were, whether they were a British film, American film. Because obviously British films only class as a success if they only break even with the budget of the film, whereas American films have to make a profit. So obviously budgeting from film comparison to their box office, whether a film is successful or not. Researching house styles of film trailers and posters of magazines was a critical one because I wanted to try and create as much synergy as possible between all of my publications. I thought it went really well actually. I was pleased with what it's turned out like. Typical camera shots that we used. Yeah, mainly with my trailer it was a comedy, so there was a lot of like medium and close-up shots, but I wanted to sort of break the convention of doing a full body shot where the character is on the bed and he's trying to reach for the remote control on the end of the bed. I wanted to keep that as a full body shot as much as possible, so broke another convention, because most comedy genres have the same convention of using a medium to close-up shot. So I thought it was a good thing to do, really. Again, text for the logos, typical camera shots, typical music as well. Music was a big one. I used Spotify as well for that. Spotify was really helpful, but I feel it's come out well using Olivia Newton-John's "Let's Get Physical." I thought that was really a good bit of music to use for this film trailer. Not sure whether I should have used the Rocky theme tune at the very beginning, but I do like it. Just whether it had the same amount of relevance to it, it was a bit iffy like. Obviously, researching the generic conventions on Google, seeing and analysing what the conventions were. Created the trailer in Premiere Pro, which is a very good piece of software to use. Highly recommend it. And piece of industry standard software, so I was a big fan of that. But this year, instead of using InDesign to create the magazine and poster, I'd just done it all on Photoshop, and I felt it was much better, in my opinion. I didn't really like using InDesign much, but yeah, I felt Photoshop, I could use a lot of my skills that I learnt from the previous year to go in and create it much simpler, much easier. So I thought that went well. And then I had to put the film trailer on YouTube, which again was another good piece of media that I used throughout this course. And yeah, that's mainly of it. And then just putting the videos and the images on the blog and going from there, really. So the second part to this question is the planning stage. Give me 1 second. Planning stage, there's not much to talk about on the planning, if I'm honest with you. At AS level, we had to draft the design for the magazine cover, the double page spread and the contents page. I'd done that on Sketching and on the computer, and I thought it was alright. I thought I could have done a little bit better with some of the designs though, but overall it was good. I also used I actually used social media to find some of the actors that I could use to play the characters. That's the same for AS and A2. But then I also used Google again to research the camera shots, the genre, setting, typical setting of the thing. I sort of broke another convention with that, really, keeping it the main cover photo actually in the bedroom of the protagonist, actually just behind me now, if you can see. And I thought that was good. Broke another convention that you don't normally see in music magazines, like where they grew up of. I thought that was pretty good one to do. And then again, blogging as per usual. And then at A2, I'd done a storyboard. That's draft a storyboard. I'd done that on paper and on the computer. Planning what genre to do was the biggest one, actually. Whether to do what normally happens in media coursework over the past few years. Horror seems to pop up quite a bit, and I know a few people in my class have done horror, but I thought I wanted to break another one and do something different to what everyone else has done. So I thought I'd do a comedy, because I quite like comedy films. So yeah, that was mainly the reason behind it. Planning, again, drafting the magazine cover and the poster. Overall, when the publications were finished, I feel the poster was the one that let me down the most. The poster I could have done a lot better on, if I'm honest with you, but I was a little bit rushed for time, and then of course when my exams are popping up now, there's mocks back when I was designing it as well, a lot of pressure on me, but again, a little bit more effort, and I think I could have done a bit better on that. Planning for each camera shot, again, storyboard in there, but finding what camera shots were needed the most was the biggest one. There's mainly research out, but again, planning music was a key one, but we think we've done okay on that. Text that could be used, characters we've already said, blogging obviously, setting we've said really, again similar to what it was last year. Wanted to keep it inside the place where the character grew up. But the setting had bigger influence on the film. Obviously, with the character being a bit lazy and unmotivated, a bit big. But yeah, I think the setting really did help push the what's the word I'm looking for? Not quite sure. Significance of the character forward a lot more. Generic length of the trailer. Normally trailer lengths are about 1 to 2 minutes long, but anything shorter than a minute is usually considered to be a teaser trailer. I think mine turned out to be about 1 minute and 15 in the end, something like that. Which I think is okay, but I think it could have been a little bit longer. A few more camera shots could have been put in, but on the whole I quite like it. Title for the film. Title for the film actually is a good one, because I based my film. My film's called The Diary of a Bigger Kid, but I based that on The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I thought I'd take their title and sort of adapt it, and I quite like that idea. But that's really about it then. Again, research, planning, they're all roughly the same thing, aren't they? Finally, it's the evaluation stage. Now, at AS level, we done 7 questions, I think it was, and we had to do them in a visually impressive way. So all I'd done last year was just create a PowerPoint presentation, put it on the slideshare. Yeah, it includes text, images, YouTube links, comparisons between my creation and the creation that I was basing mine around, and how I created things on Photoshop, etc. But really, I think I could have done it. So as I was saying before my camera cut off, the evaluation at AS level I was slightly disappointed about, because it wasn't that visually impressive, and all the transitions I put on the presentation had actually been wiped off when I put it on SlideShare. So I was quite disappointed on that, if I'm honest with you, as it was really quite good, but when all the transitions got taken off, it's quite boring, just flicking between slides. But at A2 level, I got it was recommended to me by my teacher that I should do a different format for each question. We've only got 4 questions, but I decided to do one different one for each one, so if that makes sense. So for question 1, I'd done a presentation format, which is a really good bit of software actually you can go online and log into to create presentations that are really quite visually impressive, flicking between things. It covers technical codes, mise-en-scène, symbolism, challenging and developing conventions, my contributions and my inspirations on the film. So I thought that was pretty good actually. I do like Prezi. Prezi was really good bit of media to use. Question 2, I'd done another slideshow. I know it was boring, but it was a pretty short one, to be fair. So on the blog post I've got the YouTube link to my film, the magazine cover image and the image for the poster, and then I used a slideshow explaining synergy between all of my A2 publications. So I thought that was really good. And in that question alone, we got a few different forms of media. We got a slideshow, we got YouTube, we got images, we obviously got the blog as well. So I thought that was really good. Question 3 I done in the form of a questionnaire that I could give to people. I was going to put it online, but I forgot to, if I'm honest with you. But I gave to one person in particular, Abby, which was really good. and she gave me some really good feedback on that. So yeah, I think that was done by email actually. Come to think of it, yeah, I think it was done by email. But it covered things like, are they part of my target audience? Which were the most appropriate? Obviously, I've already said Abby was the most appropriate. And is there any media theorists that I can relate to? So there should be another video actually. Should be another video on that one, explaining a bit better. And yeah, there should be another video. And then obviously question 4 I'm doing to you right now, explaining what media I've used over this course. I think the amount of media I've used really has developed over the course of this whole coursework over the 2 years, and I think that yeah, I think my skills have come on leaps and bounds really since the start of year 12 and studying media studies. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Thank you very much.